So this one YouTube channel called Financial Historian has, believe it or not, made over $10,000 in the last month only from YouTube ad revenue. Now, you might not see it at first glance, but this one is 100% AI ran. The content is AI, meaning that there are, humans sitting there making all of the visuals, putting together the script, all that kind of stuff. And it has only been started 2 months ago. That is when they posted their first video, yet they've been able to create this income source that is now paying more than most people's regular jobs. So since I've been also milking the YouTube game with these faceless channels ran by AI for the last 2.5 years now, I made over $3 million at just age 21 with channels like this. I thought, why don't I just expose how these channels are actually doing it, go through the entire workflow that they are following to create the content, the best practices to going viral, and why this is working so well. I'm gonna break down everything in this one video, but let's stop talking and actually get into the tutorial. So first of all, some background about me. I'm most known for my channel called How to AI. It was grown to over 330,000 subscribers in less than 2 years, I believe. It generated me a bunch of money at a very young age of just 18, 19, 20 years old. So I was very fortunate to have that channel go really well. But I made hundreds of thousands of dollars in YouTube ad revenue. I made hundreds of thousands of dollars in sponsorships, in affiliate marketing, in selling digital products. For example, this store that you see right here is one of them. In the last 12 months only, it's got $1.2 million, averaging about $120,000 per month, I guess. Also some bad months here coming up due to one of my channels being terminated, but that is just part of the game. So, having made all of this money, I don't like to sit here and brag, but I would say that I know what I'm talking about. Now, I've prepared a document here with everything that we will go through, and I wanted to just have a very big disclaimer to, be prepared. I will sell you something. I'm fed up with all of these guys on YouTube just trying to feed you a bunch of bullshit, and then they just weave in their kind of course or whatever into it. I can tell you that I will sell you something. I have a program. It will, however, be at the end of the video. So I will not be selling you something whilst I'm actually providing you with the value and the knowledge that you want to know about YouTube automation. It will be at the end. And if you can't handle that, then I advise you to click off the video. But first of all, why are these niches actually popping right now? So this is not like the traditional faceless YouTube channel. It is kind of a new format that has emerged now with AI becoming very good at content creation. And I just wanted to break down why it is actually performing so well. So if we just take a quick look at one of the videos here, let's just take a look at the latest one called 5 Money Rules the Romans Lived By and We Forgot.
2,000 years ago, the Romans built the richest empire on earth and then bankrupted themselves with the same financial mistakes we're making today. They understood that money is never neutral. It's a weapon, a promise.
So as you can see, this is super simple content. It is a AI image, is a set of captions that just, narrate whatever he's saying. There's an AI voiceover, and that is basically everything that goes into creating a channel like this. So you can imagine that the costs for creating the content are incredibly low, as I've written here on the document, because this is like a sweet spot of a low-cost channel that still has a high RPM, since it is in the kind of finance niche or money rules, whatever. It's called Financial Historian, right? Makes sense. So it has a very low cost due to only being ran by AI tools, basically. It has a very high RPM, and the content is engaging. It's not like the kind of standard AI slot. People actually learn something from watching this channel, making it perform better. So it's very inclined to teaching people stuff, which also increases the RPM. But there are multiple channels like this one that definitely has inspired whoever the creator of this one is. It's called Sleepless Historian. This one is a much larger channel that has been around for a while now, but they are absolutely printing. These guys are making, over 30, 40, 50K per month. And it is the exact same thing, just a little bit better made. An AI image, filter put on, an AI voiceover, and that is it. They're also making very long videos so that people can put them on for sleep, which means that the RPM will be even higher since the user stays on the platform for longer, seeing more ads turned on by YouTube. So, there are even more channels like this called Late Science. I talked about these channels before on this channel that you're watching right now. The same thing, like they're teaching people about space, universe stuff. It's called Late Science because you put it on when you sleep. Also 2-hour long videos. These guys are also absolutely printing. looks pretty cool, right? So to just keep it short, the reason why these channels are performing so well is, first of all, since they're making very long content, up to 2 hours in length, that is very favored by the algorithm since it keeps the user around on the platform for a very long time. And they're posting very often. This channel almost posts once per day or once every other day, and that would be very hard for you to do if you didn't have AI to your advantage. So that's that. Now you know why these niches are going crazy. Now, second of all, the fundamentals, you just have to know this if you're gonna get into YouTube automation. The fundamentals of the modern automation channel is not that you have an editor always, it's not that you have a scriptwriter anymore, it's not that you have a voiceover artist. Everything is mostly AI, and you should definitely utilize this because it will cut your costs for your channel by like, I don't know, 80% or more. So the script is AI. I'm going to get into the tools that you're going to use later on. The voiceover is AI. I'm going to get into a very nice website that is much cheaper than all of the normal tools like Level Labs later on as well. The editing you can either do yourself, it's going to cost you a lot of time, or you can hire a VA, and that is very different from an editor in order to make this more efficient. So since the content is just so simple, they just put together images, you do not need a skilled editor that will charge you a bunch of money to put this together. You simply need some instructions, and you need a VA that knows how to use CapCut. So they just put it together for you for like, $4 an hour, since that is the standardized kind of salary for VAs abroad. And the thumbnail you can use AI for as well. I'm going to show that towards the end of the video, how to generate the thumbnail with AI, or you can outsource it to a designer for a very low amount of money. For example, these thumbnails are just AI. All of them I can tell with, like, it might be hard for you to tell, but I can see that they're AI. So it would cost you, you can negotiate to $4 per thumbnail if you were to hire an artist to do this. It's very simple. So those are the fundamentals of the modern automation channels, so that you know this, because this is going to make a lot of sense of what I'm actually going to show you guys in the video itself. So now, how to do this for yourself. You're watching this because you want to create a channel for yourself that you can create income with. So I had the entire step plan here. Editor, you can blur some of this to make it more suspenseful, but I had the entire plan mapped out here. I'm going to go through all of it step by step so you can simply follow along, and this will be everything that you need to know in order to start your own channel. The first step would be just to avoid shadowbans. This is kind of the number one reason why people are failing and then giving up on YouTube, because they are posting a bunch of videos but they're stuck at like 1, 2, 3, 10 views. That means you are shadowbanned. It doesn't mean that your content is shit, which most people might believe, or that it's impossible. It is just the algorithm kind of prohibiting your channel from getting views because they think that you are a bot. So the way to get around shadowbans, and this is kind of the way that is working best right now. I have hundreds of students that are launching channels every day. I launch channels as well every day. So this is what is currently performing best. It can change. But you should use a private channel that you own. So for example, you are on the YouTube platform every single day, right? You're watching videos, whether that would be, you might be watching KSI, Mr. Beast. You have had this channel for a long time. This is the channel that you should use. Because if you go and create a new channel on YouTube, and then you go on to uploading your first video, or a few days after, or even the same day as creating the channel, it is very likely that the YouTube platform will deem you as a bot, and you will be shadowbanned. So if you already have a channel that you've used and warmed up for years potentially, then that will give you the highest chance of simply not being shadowbanned. Since if you were to create a new channel, the way to kind of increase the chances of that one being healthy, you would have to warm it up for weeks. But if you already have a private channel where you've already done this, it will save you so much time. It will save you all of these weeks. So first hand, definitely use your own channel. Second hand, create a new channel and warm that up thoroughly, subscribing to some people, watching some videos, liking videos, commenting. Don't overdo it. But that is how you avoid getting shadowbanned. I already have standalone videos on this channel about shadowbans, so I don't want to make this part too long. But that leads me on to step number 2, and that would be strategizing the content. So this is really where you make the money. You don't make the money in creating the content, you make money strategizing and with ideation. So ideating is king, which is basically what I just said. You will make money by being creative and finding outliers and finding out how you can make this to your own, but slightly more unique and better. So that is how you'll make money. And there's something that I call the 80-20 rule. This is a very common term that a lot of people use. It is basically that when you have a channel like Financial Historian here, and you are going to enter the same niche, what you should be doing is not just simply blatantly copying everything, just one-on-one copying it. You should be copying 80% of the channel and the niche and the outliers and the structure, and you should be adding 20% of your own flavor and unique kind of angles to it, in order to stand out in some way. Because if you think logically, if you just make the exact same video here, Lehman Brothers, and use the exact same title, have the exact same packaging, thumbnail, script, then why would you want to push your channel out to viewers when it already does exist on the platform? This is of course not a 100% guarantee that you will not get views, but generally when it comes to entering a niche, you want to follow the 80-20 rule. So for example, what we could do here, we want to copy this structure, obviously. So let's say that the most popular video would be what survives when money fails. Instead of just making the exact same video, you simply make a video what survives when gold fails, or gold, whatever. So it's not the exact same topic, but you're trying to find a new angle that people are still interested in and have a demand for. And that is ultimately what will give you the best results. And this is also why ideation is quite hard, because not everyone can find these gaps in the market where there's a lot of demand for that kind of video, but there are no other people making it. So it's quite complex. If you want a full video on how to do the ideation, I can definitely do it. I do a lot of my ideation with AI to speed up the time, but that will be a very long tutorial, so let's not do that here. And point number 3 here, take inspiration from outliers, don't steal. I simply added this because everything that I will show you in this tutorial, it is made for you to make your content creation process more efficient. You should not be stealing anything one-on-one from your competitors, because if you do, they can actually copyright strike you if you steal their script one-on-one and use the exact same script or their thumbnail or whatever. They can, if they find your channel, copyright strike you, and that would not be a good time, right? So that is not something that we want. Now, you have your niche, you have understood that ideation is the most important part. That leads us on to step number 3, which is creating the actual content. And I can imagine that this is what you guys are really interested in, because there are normal ways to do this, and there are some unique ways to do this that are more efficient and that are proven to be just faster and more cost effective overall, that not everyone knows. So for this script, it's usually kind of the same process for all channels. Nowadays, everyone just uses Claude for generating the script. It is the best AI chatbot for copywriting, in my opinion. People argue that ChatGPT is also very good, but when it comes to these longer videos, especially if you want to make an hour-long videos or 45-minute long videos, ChatGPT will not be able to generate that entire script in 1 or 2 outputs or prompts. You will have to prompt it so many times, and it will just generate small chunks, and you have to continue the story. It's just going to be a big headache, and eventually ChatGPT will kind of forget it and just start generating random stuff. It's going to be not so good. Claude, on the other hand, it doesn't do this. You can generate like 5,500 words in one single prompt, and that will make for a script that is like 30, 35 minutes or even 40 minutes in length, which, as you can hear, is really, really good. So we're going to use Claude for this example. The best way to go about this is simply extracting the transcript of whatever video that you want to create, or if you, for example, want to create your own Claude project for this channel, Financial Historian, you can create your own voice that always writes scripts in this same style. You would simply, download the transcript of, let's say, 4 or 5 videos. Press on the projects tab here in Claude. I have one, as you can see here. You press on new project. Actually, I don't have that for this plan, so I'll delete this one. So I'll create a new project and write financial channel. Create project, and you will see here, this is how it looks. So you would just add these files with your transcript in like TXT format or PDF, whatever format you want to, and then instructions, your own prompt to sound, if you have any specific requirements that you want it to follow for the intros, the hooks, whatever, you simply enter that in the instructions here, and then you can generate the scripts as usual. But if you want to go script for script, with a, let's do new chat here. If you want to do script for script, you simply head over to your channel, pick the video. Let's do, for this one, let's actually do, you know, I like this one. It's an outlier as well. How the British Crown funded pirates to build an empire. You'd simply press on that video. Sorry for the ad. Press on share, get the transcript. You can even download the transcript, I think, here on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Here, transcript, show transcript. You can just download it easily. But I just like to use this site for some reason. I just think it's convenient. You just paste the link in, press on get free transcript, and here you have it, copy. Perfect, that's done. Then you would head over to Claude, paste in the transcript so you have it, you see it like this, and then you would just write a prompt. I'm gonna pause this and put the prompt in here when I'm done. Boom, here we have the prompt. So I wrote, I want to create a similar script on why the British Empire wasn't built on fair trade, but rather with the use of pirates. So you just recite the kind of topic here and write a 3,000 word script. This is also quite important because you want to specify the length that you want. Typically, it's said that 1.5k words is like 8 to 10 minutes of a voiceover when spoken. So, you know, I'll just do 3k for this example, but with Claude you can generate very long scripts. So, you know, choose your length. I would recommend that you go with longer lengths since that performs better on YouTube, but it's ultimately up to you. With this same information in the pasted reference script, also make sure to structure the hook the same way and the overall structure of the script. So then you just send this. You might get a response from Claude like, hey, I can't, you know, copy something or stuff. That's most likely that, yeah, like this. So I cannot reproduce the exact text from your reference document, as that would be copying copyrighted material. And in the case this happens, you'll just write something like this. Yes, write an original script, but with the same structure and progression, also include the same information. Writing should be original, but very similar. We'll see what Claude answers here. There's a slight learning curve to just finding out what words AI gets triggered by. So if you write, for example, copy, like they will never allow you to generate it. So you just need to use your words more nicely. But as you can see, very similar. This script is being generated here for free. Like this doesn't cost me anything. So my budget so far is $0. So the next step in our little plan here would be the voiceover. And now when it comes to voiceovers, everyone on YouTube will tell you to use 11 Labs, right? Which is, you know, a great software. It does cost you $11 per month for 100k credits. And I can tell you that you will burn through 100k credits with like a few videos. So it will be slightly more expensive than $11 per month. And very quickly you're going to touch $99 per month or even more. But there is actually a secret site here that not many people know of, that, you know, basically everyone who is doing this at a high volume is using. And if we just compare the pricing here, they also have ChatGPT Plus subscriptions, but you will see for the same high quality 11 Labs voices, it costs 11 million credits for 30 days, for $31 as well. So that is, I don't know, even though someone can comment the amount of times of credits this is compared to 11 Labs and the more value that you get. But I did calculate it and it's like 99 point something % cheaper than what 11 Labs is. So this is going to be huge for anyone that wants to actually do this properly. I will not expose this site here on YouTube. So if you do want access to it, simply just like and comment this video and then follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description, and DM me saying that you want access to this and I'll get you. Because we don't know how long it will be around for if everyone just flaunts it openly. So I only want to give it to the people that are actually serious about doing this. But anyways, it works the exact same way as 11 Labs. You simply just press Access Labs here. And you have the kind of same voices as 11 Labs here as well. I think it is literally the same voices. At least they're the same quality. I think this is using the 11 Labs API in some way. But you can see I have some credits. Simply just have the standard settings here. Pick your voice that you think fits. I'm gonna use Charles here. Then you just go to your script generation by Claude, and you would copy a big chunk of your script. I'm just gonna do the intro here like this for the sake of the example, because it wouldn't make sense for me to just show this over and over again. It's just gonna take a long time. And then you would create voice. It's gonna confirm with you how many credits it's gonna cost, and then you can see here that it's starting to create the generation. So I'll get back to you when the generation is actually done. And as you can see now, it has been completed in the status, so we can listen to it.
The British Empire wasn't constructed through honest commerce or sheer determination. It was forged.
So obviously, since this is picked up by my mic, it's not going to be the full quality, but this sounds really good. And the narration voice is also really good for this type of content. So this is how you would create the voiceover. Super simple, super cheap as well. This cost me 200 credits, I think, for this little part. And if you would compare that with the pricing, like, it would be a few cents. So amazing way to get your voiceover done. Let me know once again if you want it. Make sure to follow the requirements. And this would take us on to the next step, which is the editing. Now, this is where it gets slightly more complicated, and you have to really decide what path you want to go. So a channel like Financial Historian, for example, they are only using AI-generated images. Editor, if you can just zoom in here. They're only using AI-generated images for their different visuals, which might be great for custom narration and making it really tailored, like making the channel really kind of have its own unique vibe. But channels like, let's go here to Late Science again. Usually the biggest channels that are getting the best results, they're actually not using AI-generated images. They are using stock footage in their videos. So you can see this channel here is using the same stock footage videos for every single upload that they do about space, just simply changing the topic and the thumbnails. And the reason why they are doing this is because if you were to generate AI images for a 2-hour-long script, for example, about sleep or whatever, it would cost you a bunch of money in credits. First of all, since you have to generate a bunch of images and change them every 10 seconds potentially in the video, or 15, 20 seconds, it's going to cost you a bunch of credits in the AI generations. But you also have to have someone, or if not yourself, that sits there and generates all of these images, and that's going to take you a shitload of time. Let me tell you that much. So what I usually recommend, and what we have as the standard kind of guidance in the program as well, is that you should go with the stock footage route, because if you think about it, this is free on a site like, go here, Pixabay. So stock footage is completely free here. So if I just search for space here in the videos section, oops, let's see if this loads, space, then you would literally find the same videos. If they can actually load here, my internet is quite bad. You would actually find the exact same videos that Late Science is using. I can tell you that much. I can promise you this. So that's one of the things that Financial Historian, if the owner of this channel is actually watching my channel here, you should be making longer videos and potentially even use stock footage to enhance and make the content production more effective. So, for example, for Financial Historian, we would either generate the images here with Leonardo AI, and the fastest way to do this is by going onto Claude, taking a chunk of your script here, or let's say this whole section here, heading over to ChatGPT, paste that in here, and then just above this big blob of text, you put in a prompt like this. I'm just gonna pause the video and write it here. Alright, so you can see here that I wrote, I'm going to generate AI-based images on my script below, approximately so I can use 1 image per 10 seconds of video duration progressing. Generate me image prompts that I can use in Leonardo AI to generate these images. So you will then see that ChatGPT will go ahead and output you some good prompts that you can use to get the best possible images that you can simply just plug into Leonardo, and you will get the different images generated. So then you can see that ChatGPT simply goes ahead and generates the good prompts that we can use here in Leonardo AI. We have about 12 prompts, but we're just going to generate a few of them so you can see how it works. Simply copy this, head over to Leonardo AI and go to the AI image creation. You can see here in the settings to the left, you want to have 16:9 as the generation format, since that will give you like the YouTube format generations, not like a square or short format. It's going to be the widescreen ones. Generation mode fast. You shouldn't have ultra. It's not going to make that big of a difference. You can choose the style that you want, how you want your image to look. Cinematic will give you this kind of, cool pirate ship style. Might be good for a storytelling channel. So I'm just going to paste in the first prompt here. Go back to ChatGPT. Simply paste or copy the next one. Put that in there as well. Go to ChatGPT back again. Grand Spanish Galleons. like this. Let's do the fourth one as well while we're at it. Just like this, because you want to prioritize speed, guys. This is how you make it on YouTube. You can't be taking too long time. So you can see that all of the images here are following a pretty consistent style, at least. Slightly different weather in the images, but they are still looking quite good. And now we have some images for our visuals that we're going to show throughout the video. Actually, I went ahead and generated some more of our prompts here. But you can see that we now have a bunch of images to use for our video. So that would take us on to the next part of the editing step, and that is putting everything together. And here's when you might start actually wasting your time rather than utilizing it correctly with a high return on your investment. So editing would be done in CapCut. It is free web-based software. You don't need anything advanced or need to purchase any Adobe Premiere Pro or stuff. Simply use CapCut, press on create new here in the top left corner. Choose the 16:9 YouTube format, and you'll get taken to something that looks like this. You know, perfect. So then you just press on upload here in the top left corner. Choose your images that you've generated and downloaded in Leonardo. Let's do this one, for example. Let's pick one from here. Then you just repeat this until you have uploaded all of your assets. So I've uploaded all of the images that are generated here. I also uploaded the voiceover because of course you will need that as audio in the video itself. So then you would just go ahead and click on this to add them to the timeline like this. Loading all of these images. They're gonna be added in the kind of wrong order here, so you have to of course rearrange them and make sure it's right for your story, because it has to make sense with the narration, right? I'm not sure if these are actually in the right order now, but we'll see. Then do the same thing with the voiceover, simply add it to the timeline. Now this is the most basic version of a video that you can have. You'll see that it's just the voiceover and the image.
The British Empire wasn't constructed through honest commerce or sheer determination. It was forged through robbery, not small-time crime or street-level banditry.
So that's a pretty boring video if the image is just still like this. What you can do and what the Financial Historian channel does is that they slight movement to the image. So what you could do in CapCut, for example, is add something like a zoom here. If you go to effects on the left and then search for zoom, you'll find zoom lens. Simply just press on that, double click on it, and you'll drag down the speed to 1 and the range to like 3, something like that, and just drag it across the entire image here. Simply press Ctrl V, duplicate it, and add that for the next image, and just repeat that. And what you'll see here now when we play the video, it will be a slight zoom.
The British Empire wasn't constructed through honest commerce or sheer...
So there's at least some motion to it. It generally just makes it more enjoyable to watch in some way. Apart from that, to take it to the next level, and what you should ask your editor to add if you do have one, is add some kind of background soundtrack, because that will make a huge difference to how the video is perceived. If there's for example, in this video you can have some piratey kind of soundtrack that sounds like a pirate song. Not any vocals of course, but just instrumental pirate song. And that will make a very, very big difference to how viewers perceive your content. It's gonna make it a lot more engaging. Many beginners, they skip sound design because they think it's like the visual stuff that matters, but sound design often matters even more. So to find sound effects, you can even use Pixabay for this as well. They have music. You simply just search for pirate song or something like this, pirate, and you just listen to them, pick one that sounds good, download it, and you are done. But now that the video is done, that leads us on to the next step, which would be number 4, and that is the thumbnail. So there are 2 ways to create thumbnails here. One is using AI, a tool called Pixels, to simply generate the thumbnail. It's going to be quite easy. And the second way would be to use Canva to design it yourself, or either get a freelancer that can do it for you. So I would basically never recommend that you do design the thumbnails yourself, even though you can. It's going to take you a bunch of time, and a thumbnail like this you can outsource for, you know, $3 a thumbnail, $4 a thumbnail if you find the right freelancer, and that's going to save you a bunch of time. But I'm going to show you for this example how to use AI, because that is also very convenient. It also saves you a bunch of time if you do prompt it the right way. But with Pixels you barely even need to prompt it. So we're going to recreate this, right? In order to recreate a thumbnail using Pixels here, you press on the recreate feature, and then you link a thumbnail or YouTube video. So we're just simply going to share this video copy the link to it, head back over to Pixels, paste the YouTube video link, and then you just press on generate. And you will see that it's going to load for a while, of course, because it generates the thumbnail, but you should get something fairly similar. The only kind of con with AI tools that generate thumbnails is that the text is not always going to be 100% accurate. So we're going to see how the result turns out here in just a second. And boom, you can see that the generation is done here, and the result is actually very, very good. There are no mistakes with this. It looks very similar to our competitor, which is awesome. And there are, like, the text is on point, everything is very good. We just saved, you know, potentially a half an hour of time designing a thumbnail, or even 20 minutes, by just prompting or sharing the link to this AI tool. So obviously it's going to cost you, but you save time, so it makes sense. And now at this point you have the thumbnail that you need for your video, you have the video itself. It means that you are fully fit to post your first video on the platform YouTube. For all of the posting settings and things not to do, I have separate videos for that. But there's actually one more very important thing here that I wanted to add to this video, which is how you're going to go from 3K per month with a channel like this to over 30K per month with YouTube automation. So there is one just very important skill to master overall, and that is setting up systems. So if you're going to be in the trenches doing all of this yourself every single day, that is not going to take you to 30K per month. Sure, you can make 3K per month, you can even make 6K per month quite easily, but you will never get past 10, 20K per month if you're gonna create all of this content yourself, because it does take time. Just this tutorial has taken time, right? So the way that you kind of make this work is that you need to think like a business owner and not a hustler. And since you already know and have all of the skills on how to create the content and the best practices for your niche, you need to compile this all into very clear SOPs, which stands for Standard Operating Procedure. Very clear SOPs, meaning instructions for someone else to digest and use, on how you do all of this, how you generate scripts, on how you generate the voiceovers here, on how you generate the images. All of this you already know, so you simply compile this to different documents of just instructions that someone else can have. And that is where the VAs actually comes in. So I wrote VA here for editing. If you want to save a bunch of time, like the first step would just to outsource the editing. But if you want to save all the time and just focus on ideation, you should outsource all of this to a VA and AI. So once you have these SOPs that are super detailed and as simple so that even a baby could follow them and not make any mistakes, just step by step, very cleanly laid out, you simply combine that with a Trello board, which is a team management system that looks like this. You have these different cards that you drag around. Each card would make up for one video. You simply take that card, drag it to the next one. That way you can actually track the progress your virtual assistant is doing. For example, if they are in the script stage, if they are making a voiceover, if you want to review every step, you can add a pending review step like this. But you will be able to track everything and make sure that everything is going as it should, making it super seamless on your end, since you can just be overseeing all of this and just be adding new cards with whatever topics that you want to create, and adding maybe let's say, how the British Empire was built by pirates, just like this. Simply go and add the video link to the YouTube video here and move that into video topic approved, and your VA would start working on it. So it is super, super simple. You can just watch this video and see how I've laid out this Trello board here. It's not really that hard, but this is how you do it. And in order to find the freelancers or the virtual assistants, you would be using a site like onlinejobs.ph or Upwork. It would look something like this. You have a messages tab, you can post a job. Although I can tell you that in order to contact the freelancers on this website, you actually have to pay a very expensive subscription. So I would refer to you using Upwork instead. So you can see I literally posted a job post for a virtual assistant for this job, a new one to my team, yesterday. And I've already got over 24 proposals from freelancers with this. You can see the budget here. It's quite low. So you just make a job post based on the requirements of your specific channel, the specific tasks that they will do, and simply put that on Upwork, and you'll have so many people that have sent proposals to you in a few days. It really isn't harder than this to create a faceless YouTube automation business. There isn't too much else to mention. Of course, there are a bunch of small tips that you can implement to your channel, that if you're a beginner, your focus should only be on starting to output videos on the platform, seeing what works and what doesn't, you know, gather more skills, gather more experience, understand the algorithm. That is what you should be doing. So this is the part where I actually sell you something. If you don't care or don't want to grow your YouTube channel optimally, you simply do not have to watch. You can click off. It's completely up to you. But I can assure you that it will be interesting to at least hear. So I run a program called Faceless Launchpad, where you can see a lot of people have joined. A lot of people are getting results. $8,000 in just September for Don Big Don here. And if I just continue scrolling, you can see people being accepted to the YouTube Partner Program. 21k subs in 2 months. All that kind of stuff. There are even crazy results of people earning up to $25,000 in their first 3 months of launching a new channel without any prior experience. There are a bunch of interviews on this channel that you're watching, so you can verify all of these details and make sure that I'm not lying to you. So basically, to keep this very short, because I don't like sitting and pitching people for a program that is private, if you are struggling with finding a niche, we pretty much give you a niche. We have a done for you niche system and initiative that we do with our coaching team. If you struggle with finding freelancers, we have a freelancer pool where you can find vetted freelancers that are already aware of this whole YouTube automation concept. If you are unsure of how the algorithm works, we have coaches and myself that will help you, who have already earned millions of dollars with YouTube. So this is basically to just supercharge your journey to success. This is also why a lot of people, and a very high amount of people that join the program, are seeing success, because we have kind of patched all those little cracks where you throughout your journey could fall into, and then that would make you fail. So we have patched all of those things to make sure that you get support on every single level that you could possibly need, and you will not have any struggles with having a dead niche. You will not have any struggles with shadowbans. And all of this is simply so that you can focus on putting in the work and progressing, instead of having to worry about all of these small mistakes, like picking a super bad niche and spending a bunch of money on content in that one, or like buying a channel for $500 online that is then shadowbanned. We will help you and advise you to make sure that you are not making any of these mistakes, so that you can get crazy results and earn, you know, money as fast as possible for as little money as possible as well. The program is private, as I mentioned. We only have a limited spots and limited amount of channels that we launch with people every single month. So there's of course an application form below where you have to apply. We don't let everyone in. However, if you're interested and you do think that you are the kind of person that could do something like this, that really wants to take this seriously, then we will gladly hold your hand along the journey and make sure that you are successful. If it turns out that your application goes through, you will have a free strategy call about YouTube, where we basically give you guidance on the different niches, all that kind of stuff. It is free. So there's nothing for you to lose. Worst case scenario, you simply walk away with just more knowledge. But that is basically all. So if you want access to the voiceover tool that I showed you guys earlier on, simply just do as I said, leave a comment on this video, letting me know that you've done it, leave a like, and DM me on X just proving that you've done all of this, and I'll make sure that you are a good fit to get access to the tool. And if there's any other topic or channel that you want me to break down here on YouTube for free, I will definitely do so. I want to help you, as many of you guys, succeed as possible, even if you don't have the budget for a program or mentorship program like I run. Simply leave me a comment of what you want to see, and if there's enough demand for a certain topic, a bunch of upvotes, then I will create it for you. But this is all for this video. See you in the next one.